Hey everybody, so we've got some new stack specific styling options that I want to show you, and this has all come from feedback from what you guys have shared with us. So historically with our stack specific styling, when you made a change to one thing, it then broke away all of those design options from the site-wide design options, and that gets really frustrating when you're wanting to make changes across the whole site to little things, but then all of a sudden you've broken it away. So for example, if you just changed the spacing, all of a sudden that meant you couldn't change any of the fonts or font sizes or font colors or things like that. So we've allowed you now a lot more granular kind of breaking away of the styling, so I'll show you that. And also at the moment there's only one option to reset, and you have to reset the whole stack back to the site-wide defaults, whereas we wanted to give you the ability to just reset certain elements of it. So let's jump in and I'll show you a bit of an example. So here we've got one of our templates, and if we scroll down here, you see we've got two stacks here. So the first one, this stack is completely default. So these are all the default settings. And then this stack here has custom color for the H2, and it's also got a custom background. Let's jump in and give it a custom button styling as well. So if we jump into buttons, let's choose a different style here. There we go, cool. And let's change the font in the button to be white. There we go, cool. So let's save that there. Excellent. Now if we jump into our site-wide edit design, and let's go through and change a few things. So let's start with headings. So you can see that this is an H2 and this is an H2, but they're different colors. They're the exact same size and they're the same font family, but they're different colors. So let's change the font family. So let's scroll down, let's go to this scribbled, and let's change that. And you can see that both of them have actually changed fonts. So they've stayed the colors, the sizes have stayed the same, but the font has actually changed on both of them. Now if we make this substantially bigger, so let's go make it huge, you can see that it actually changes the font size as well. However, if we now go and change the font color, it'll only change the font color on the top one. And that's because that's the only thing that's different between these two here is the font color. So because we've set this one as its own font color, it stays there, but everything else, the font and the font size, will be able to be changed. Cool. Let's have a look at buttons as well. So you can see this button, obviously this one is different from this one, and so if we change the style of the button, then this one will change, but the bottom one won't. So you can see now we've got square corners, rounded corners on a square button rather than our circular button, and if we change the font, however, the font will change in both of them because the font is actually the same. If we change the font size, that will change in both of them because the font size was the same across both. Okay, so that's the cool difference here. Anything you change in site-wide will actually change across all of your stacks unless you have specifically told it to change that thing. Now, historically as well, when you've come to do these site-wide changes, the whole stack would have been grayed out saying, look, you can't change anything because it's got specific styling on it. What we've done now, you can see over here, we've got a little icon. There's actually a little number up in the top corner here, which you may or may not be able to see. In this case, it says 4, and now I can actually see what in that stack has been changed. So if I hover over it, it says the background's been changed. Obviously we've got a stack background. The medium heading, there's something different about the medium heading, and that's the color. The button design, you know, it's a different design. It was a see-through button rather than a solid button, and the spacing settings are different. But everything else in there, you'll be able to edit and change. So it just gives you a really quick glance as to what's actually changed in that. If we scroll up to this stack here, you can see there's 8 things that are different. But these stacks here, this top one and this middle one here, there's nothing on there because all those settings are exactly the same. So it's just a quick way to be able to see what's been changed and what hasn't. Let me cancel out of this, and I just want to show you something really quickly inside of the individual stacks as well. So same principle, if we click cancel, it will go back to how it was previously. Let's jump into this stack, which has a bunch of stack styling options. So we've still got our reset all to site-wide. If I do that, we're going to lose the photo in the background. This is going to go back to black, and this button will go into the site-wide. So you're going to lose all of that customization you've done, which is fine. Sometimes there'll be times you need to do that. If I click into stack background, however, you can see I've actually got a reset background to defaults. Okay, so that'll just reset the background. If I jump into headings, I've got a reset font settings to defaults. Let's click that. And so now this has jumped back to the exact same size, color, and font as the H2s across the whole site. If I go into buttons, reset buttons, and so really quickly you can just reset specific things. You don't have to reset everything back to how it was. And then, you know, if I want to cancel, as always, I can cancel that as well. So that's what we've done around stack-specific styling. We think it's going to be a way nicer way for you guys to use stack-specific styling to build websites and make sure that you can make those changes further down the track, even though you want to do little specific tweaks to certain stacks. I hope you enjoy that, and any feedback, we'd love to hear that. Cheers.